Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're now live. Good evening. This is an extraordinary meeting for Kingsthorpe Parish Council. We're meeting on the 4th of May 2021, and it is currently 6:02 p.m. The reason I've called this extraordinary meeting is to consider planning applications which have come in since our last meeting, which was held a couple of weeks ago. These were sent late to us by the West Northants Council, which means there's insufficient time between now and our next meeting, which will be the 17th of May, to consider these before the deadline. And for that reason, even though it is PERDA, I decided this was best so that any decision we come to can be properly scrutinised and there'll be an appropriate record for them. So currently present, we have myself, Councillor Kilby-Shaw, Councillor Sally Beardsworth, Councillor Nurse Perek, and the Parish Clerk, Kate Houlihan. So I'll move on to the first item, which is apologies for absence. Kate, have we had any apologies?
Yes, we have apologies from Mrs. Rachel Hetherington, Mr. Steve Miller, and Mr. Sean Brady. Okay,
thank you. Are there any declarations of interest?
None, Chair.
Okay, I do have one. It's the last meeting of the West Northants Interim Planning Committee was last week. However, I am technically still a member of that committee until the election. So that is my declaration of interest. I do not think that it will have any bearing on any of the applications going forward. So I will be participating. Moving on forward to the minutes. Is everybody had a chance to look over the minutes, and are you happy for me to sign them off as a true record of the proceedings?
Yes, Chair, that's no problem at all.
Yes, Chair, I agree.
Okay, thank you. So item number 4 is public session. So members of the public are invited to address the council, and there's a maximum of 15 minutes for this item. But I do not believe we have anybody who has mentioned their intention to speak or who is currently
today. No, Chair.
Okay. If anybody does come in later, we will, of course, give them an opportunity before the end of the meeting. Okay, so on to the bread and butter of this meeting, which is planning matters, which are for consideration, and there are 6 on the agenda. So if you could just run through them for us, please, Kate.
Yeah, so the first application that you have there is for 562 Obelisk Rise. Demolition of single-storey garage and replacement with new 2-storey side extension. So if you bear with me one moment, I will share my screen. Hopefully you can see that planning screen up there now. And if you look there, you've got the location plan and the block plan, so you can see the extent of the extension that they're looking at. And before I look at the other plans, just on street view, this is the area that it's in. And first off, you can see that a number of other properties in the area have done similar things, taking out the garage and creating extensions around.
Okay.
There's no comments. There's no comments from any neighbours that are logged as yet on the planning portal. So you can see that's the existing plans where the garage is. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
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 I think, Chair, that several people have done it before. I think it fits in with street scene. It's nothing too outlandish. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah,
and that's what's proposed.
I've looked at this. I don't have any issues. There are no windows on the side, so there'll be no issues with overlooking. So I'm quite happy that this is acceptable.
Chair, I agree with that as well. Yeah, no, I don't see any issue with that application at all.
Okay.
So all agreed, no comments to make on Obelisk Rise.
No,
agreed.
Chair.
Oh, that's agreed.
Okay, and the next application is for Foxgrove avenue, and this is a single storey rear extension. And so if you can see that, that's the site there, just the block plan of where they are. And I'll just
Is it just single story?
Yeah, it's single story anyway, so I don't think that affects anyone else.
yeah, and it's a rear extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
So I can.
That's the last one.
It's
That's a
not
different
particularly much larger than what would be permitted under permitted development, so I have no objections to this.
Oh, sorry. I'll leave
I
that.
agree with you, Chair.
I have no problem with this one.
No.
It doesn't have any impact on the neighbours, I don't think.
So the next one, if you can see my screen, is 6 Yeoman Drive.
Yeah.
And this is dormer windows on the front elevation. If you can see that front elevation there, they're planning to put dormer windows in, and you can just see where it would be on the side elevation.
More and more people are doing this now, Chair, I think, rather than move house, because it's quite costly to move house, and rather than move to a larger place when you've got teenage children, it's easier for them to extend their own property.
Yes. My only comment on this would be that the dormer on the front is very large. I had a look and I couldn't see any of the properties on the street which had got a similar extension done to their dormer windows, so it would be not in keeping with all the other properties on the road.
The street scene, yeah, the street scene is being respected, yes.
Yeah.
Is that something to object to, though? Nobody else has done it before.
It could be a loss of amenity to the neighbour, because the dormer window comes out and might be an obstruction to the neighbour's dormer.
Yeah,
but
it could be out of keeping with the street scene if you were going to comment.
Yeah.
Yes, so just the dormer is out of keeping with the street scene.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be reduced in size.
Yeah, so I completely understand the desire to stay in the area and to do an extension like this, but I don't think it's really appropriate to the street scene.
No.
Is that grounds to flag it up if nobody else has done it before? Oh, they've done smaller.
I don't think it's a conservation area. Well, in fact, I'm quite certain it's not.
No.
That wouldn't really be a material grounds to object, but we could just make a comment that we don't think it's appropriate to the street scene.
The scale of it, perhaps.
Yeah, yes. The scale of the dormer, yeah.
I suppose a lot of it would be as to the neighbours, but they'll be asked for their comments by the planning office.
Right.
So do you want me?
The neighbours, sorry, would the neighbours have been notified about this application beforehand anyway?
They will have been, yes. Yes, they will have had
written to, yes.
Yeah.
So I would have
They'll
thought
still
if
have
they'd had an objection to it, they would have raised that. Say too big, or they're blocking their light or something.
Yeah, there's no objections from neighbours to it as yet, but they have got a little more time to put comments in if they wanted to.
Yeah. So obviously they'll have a better feel for the area as well, won't they?
Well, I have that good a feel. It's similar in scale to what's been done on Acre Lane, but on Acre Lane the properties are all side on, so the dormer extensions don't upgrade onto the street scene. I'm being attacked by cats right now.
Do you want me? Are you saying that you are going to object to the application, or would you just like me to put a comment in saying that the parish council would like to review the size of the dormer as perhaps it may be.
Not keeping
Yeah.
with the area, not keeping
Yeah.
with the others. Yeah. I think our comments, that's all we need to put, to say
Yeah.
that we think it's a little large.
Yeah,
I
I agree with
I
Councillor Booth.
personally would not object to it. Because I think obviously if they're proposing to do that in the area, I don't feel though if somebody else hasn't done it, then it's something that we should object to. I think there's obviously room for, there's a space to do it and they're willing to do it on there to improve the area. I think it will be something I would object to.
Okay.
I think I know it's bigger than the other extensions that have taken place, but yeah, I think it's still worth their while doing it if they seem fit. I think we need to take the neighbours' comments into consideration if any of them have objection to that. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. So I think that would be an objection then on the basis of not no overdevelopment. It's not in keeping with the street scene.
Are we objecting or commenting, Chair? Because
Is Nilesh representing that ward? Are you, Nilesh? Because that would affect you more.
No, I'm on Sunnyside ward. I am.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
think that's
just-
Obelisk Rise.
Yeah.
And that's your area, isn't it? Obelisk Rise.
No, it's not my area.
Yeoman Drive.
No,
Yeoman
no,
Drive.
no,
Road.
Sam.
Yeah. It's
Obelisk is Sam's area.
yeah. Okay. So it's a question of. I personally think it's a comment to say that
Yeah,
we
I
think
think
the window is a little large compared with the rest of the street scene.
Yeah,
a comment is fine, but not. I wouldn't agree with an objection.
yeah. So if we can just put that then as a comment that we think it's a little large in keeping with the street scene.
That's fine. That's fine. And then the next one is 3 Haycroft Walk, and that's a single-storey rear extension and enlarged rear box dormer to loft. And again, there's been no objections from neighbours to this at this point. And then this is the proposed elevations. I don't know how well you can see that on screen, and the side elevations. Do you want to have a look at the street view? That might help.
It looks quite large, doesn't it? No, that's not the one. I think that's the one we had before.
Yeah, I'm just going to
Okay, sorry.
that one. I haven't got it up. Sorry, Sally.
That's all right. Don't worry. I'm not complaining. I'm rubbish on these things. So you're brilliant compared with me. So no.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, I lost you all there for a little while.
You're all right. You're back now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Haycroft Walk. So that's where we are, and it's number 3. So it'll be just as you come into the close.
So it'd be the end 1-3, wouldn't it? Be the next one in 1-3. That right?
Yeah,
So it'd be
Yeah.
this one here. Yeah.
hard to. I think it's that one there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's quite close to the one next door, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a side extension though, it's a rear extension.
Is it?
Yeah, single-storey rear extension and enlarged rear box dormer to loft.
What about light to neighbours? It's a job to tell, isn't it? When you don't know which way they're facing.
Yeah.
Helps for looking at the existing. I mean, there's no objections from neighbours at the Present.
Okay.
Is that just a single story? Or is
It's
that
a, it's a single story extension and an extension to the dormer on the first floor. So
Well,
Yeah.
the dormer looks quite large.
yeah, I've got no objection to the ground floor extension, but I
No.
do agree with Sally that the dormer is a bit large. It won't have any effect on the street scene because it's a rear facing
Yeah,
thing.
it's just the sun for people coming wherever they're situated. If they're coming round, it would block the sun quite a lot from the next door neighbour.
Yeah.
If it goes that way, because I don't know.
I don't know.
You're never sure whether it's north, south, east or west. That's the problem. But I just think it is rather a large box extension for the dormer.
I concur.
I would put in, does it have to be that large, as a comment? And what do the neighbours think?
It's 20th March that's been submitted.
Mm.
What is the closing date for the comments on this one?
So there has been, we received it, I think, on the 28th of April. So there has been quite a delay at West Northants in receiving applications and validating them and actually putting them out for consultation. So the neighbours have probably had it when we did on the 28th of April.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they've not had it for long then.
Or there's actually the example neighbour letter is the date of the 21st of April. So they've probably had it since then.
Yeah.
There is one
week
comment
you out.
I'd like to make, and that's just to ensure that because they're putting a window in on the first story, which faces a neighbouring property, just to ensure that that is frosted glass. I'm sure it would be because it's a shower room.
The reason I'm always a bit reticent about things that are bigger than normal, you know, the size of it, is that they might be friends with their neighbours and the neighbours don't want to object because they don't want to spoil the relationship, but those people will move one day and this is that will be there for a long time for people to live with. So it's a question of having a balance of making sure that whoever lives in the house next door isn't affected by it.
Yeah. So as I from the discussion that's happened then, I think our comments are that we have no objection to the ground floor extension.
Mm-hmm.
The first floor window for the bathroom should be frosted glass, which I'm sure it will be already, but we're a little dubious about the size of the dormer extension. We think it's too large. And put that as a comment rather than an objection.
Yeah.
Because it is rear facing.
Yeah.
And do I have any effect on the street scene?
Okay, that's fine. And then the last one, I think, is, we've got 22 St John's Avenue.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
So there you can see the block plan of the existing. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. So that's the existing, and then you can see the block where the extension is.
The wraparound. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a single story rear and side extension.
Have we got a street scene of it at all? I think that tells you roughly how close they're going to go to the neighbours.
I can do that, just bear with me 1 second. So I have to just go back. Take me a second. Too many tabs open. But okay,
Mhm.
and then what number was it? 22.
It had to be the end because most of them are terraced,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah. If I go back to it. Trying to see the plan again.
So it looks like a semi-detached, doesn't it, there?
Yes,
Yeah. It's a sem-
Oh, because there's a side entrance there, Sally. That's why. Is it?
Yeah,
Is
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Because it can't be this one here because it's
no, it's the
yeah,
one. This one, isn't it?
yeah, one with the back a bit. Yeah, one with the gate at the side.
Yeah. Keep
I
going.
can't.
That one.
Back
Is
a
it
bit.
yeah.
There.
This one.
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
I think it's that.
Mm.
Again, that's all rear as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what on the side there and in the rear. So
Not going to affect next door particularly, badly, is it?
and it's single story as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. The only
Yeah.
comment I would have is there's a couple of the windows in the roof that the neighbours might be able to see into the property. So I would suggest that they would be frosted glass so that there's no loss of privacy.
Yeah.
Would they
But
be able to see into that?
I don't think this is at all inappropriate. I think it's perfectly acceptable.
I don't think they'll be able to see into that at all from that plan.
I mean, if the people next door, because it goes further back, I think probably even if they had glass, the very fact that usually they're pitched, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not flat; they're pitched usually over those sort of areas. I think it'd be hard for people to see. And this end one probably has got the bathroom on the side anyway.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of the neighbours in number 20 from the first floor rear windows. They might be able to see down into what was the room?
Yeah.
Kitchen, not the kitchen.
The kitchen extension.
Mm.
But that'd be my only comment.
Yeah.
Comment about frosted glass if necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think obscured glass is better than frosted because there's lots of obscure stuff that lets the light in as well, rather than heavily frosted. Yeah.
I think obviously the whole point of them putting the glass in is to get the light in anyway, isn't that?
Yeah.
That'd be the whole point of putting the window in anyway.
Just gets light in, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy to move on with that comment, Chair?
Yeah, I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
And so the last one is 202 Obelisk Rise. And this is revised plans because it didn't actually look at Obelisk Rise last time, but they have submitted revised plans. So I don't know if you recall that previously.
Vaguely. Oh, it's on the end, wasn't it? Yes, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the block where they're looking to extend. And it's a single story side extension.
Maybe the revised. Yeah, and they were just putting the windows on the side there as well.
The revised plans, yeah.
Yeah.
So existing plan and obviously the addition.
We're going back to the snug, aren't we? It's a new name now, snug. Yes. Oh, lovely.
My only comment would be, as I believe it was in the last time, just ensuring that the material is in keeping with the area. I have no problems with this at all.
I echo that.
there any other comments apart from materials to be in keeping?
I don't have a problem. It's an end house. It's not going to impact on other people.
Okay,
I think that's agreed then.
Yeah.
perfect. I've got that, so that's fine. So that was the last application.
Lovely.
Thank you. So we'll just go on to the last item of the agenda, which is the next meetings, which will be AGM, which is going to be held on the 17th of May, and the venue will be determined soon, and we'll make sure everybody is aware of it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for coming to this meeting on such short notice.
Thank you, Chair.
Kate, could you just send my emails to Mike for a few times?
Yeah, I will do. Will do. Yeah,
Because I'm in between at the minute.
no problem.
Thank you.